beginnings of Kwake. Where did it all start? Well, in 1994, South Africa had gone through all these amazing changes. And Fiona Desfontaine, the senior pastor of his church, then called City of Life Church, called me in and said, Esme, can you go into KwaDoBeka and see how we as a church can be a blessing to that community? I'd been holding a truth in my heart for a long time that said, if a church ceased to exist, would the community even know the difference? And so I was excited to go in and pioneer something and to see what God was able to do. Several projects then began to take place, like KwaClothes, a clothing initiative, Kwatins for fundraising, we did literacy projects, and as things started to gain momentum, we realized the need to register a formal nonprofit. And so the first thing we did was choose a name, and so we chose Kwake. And we also, I remember having the privilege of holding what we call reconciliation seminars, where we got people from different race groups in South Africa who had never met and never heard each other's stories begin to share the things that had happened to them. We saw many walls of mistrust and fear begin to just crumble down. I've had the privilege of keeping connection with Kwake, which has now become Hope Nation, and just am so blessed to see the seeds that were sown so many years ago that many people have come in and watered them and looked after them and tended them. And of course, it's always God who makes them grow. And so I'm grateful to have been a part of the beginnings, and I'm grateful that God is continuing the work that He has started.
From possibly about 2002, I started volunteering in KwaCare. I worked as the operations manager in KwaCare, but was formally employed from 2003 until 2010. Some of the projects that we were involved with were Adopt a Family, Adopt a Baby. We even had Adopt a Creche at the time. We ran soup kitchens. Also Christian Bible Institute used to do outreaches into the community. One of the greatest milestones that I was involved with at KwaCare was starting a children's home that impacted the lives of up to about 8 kids during the time that it was running.
2008, I was appointed pastoral oversight of KwaCare, which was a great honor. And working alongside me, we were really gifted with a dynamic couple as managing directors from the UK who had extensive experience with nonprofits and building sustainable projects within community. So these two, Dave and Chrissy Pilk, moved out with their whole family and poured their whole lives into KwaDoBeka and Marion Ridge. And we worked together tirelessly to start to build something more sustainable, which up until that time had not happened. There was many needs. And so I pioneered several projects at that time, which went on to be called KwaRescue. And we provided rape kits and bags for children and women, and sometimes men. And it was just horrifying, the trauma, the enforced trauma that children were going through. So we began to feed children with a little packet of food every day. And we also assisted in a makeover at the Pinetown courts and a complete makeover at the Durban courts. I believe had an incredible impact to bring awareness and to open our eyes and to do what we could do to lend a hand.
My journey with KwaCare started in December 2010. I took over from Dave and Christy Pilkington in December 2010 and remained in that position until July 2016. One of the main shifts during my time is that prior to that, KwaCare had been very much focused on food security, and it was strongly in my heart to shift us more towards education, because I felt that could generate a change that is sustainable in people's lives. So we pioneered a project we called KwaEd, which later we also added KwaEd Tertiary. There was basically an educational program that took care of children from elementary school all the way up to tertiary education.
Yeah, and when I came in in 2016 as an administrator with Lolly Durant at the time as the managing director. We did matric rewrite, carried on with Gwa Ed and Gwa Ed Tertiary, but we added to it in that we did more individual mentoring. We identified that there was a gap in kids applying into varsity or higher education because a lot of them had no real career guidance. So we added between grade 10 to grade 12 some career guidance, career days and things like that, and also helped them to do higher education applications and then some mentoring while they are at tertiary level, and also helping them with whatever their needs may have been.
We really saw that most of the success stories were the kids who actually got stuck into church.
Yeah.
Like there are many kids that we've helped through the years, but those who really did well was those who further to the help they were getting also got stuck into church and became Christians and grew their relationship with God.
When I joined Kwake in 2019, we'd been through quite a long process of focusing on holistic care. And what that meant was we were focusing on food, education, and any other support that we felt was necessary or that we had identified in our education projects and beyond that into other areas. We decided to refine that to focus more strictly on education. And through that journey, we discovered that, of course, there's additional support that's needed, but we had a few cases where we found the education system had been, or kids had been lost in the education system. For example, we had a few children in grade 9 who we discovered were still illiterate, as in unable to read or write.
2023 was a significant year for us. We saw at that point that the bigger problem that we were addressing is actually the level of heartbreaking hopelessness within our nation. We considered this and thought about what are the values that are actually needed to stir up hope within a person's heart and in their mind. And we identified 3 core values: dignity, equality, and opportunity. Dignity, because every person deserves a chance to feel that they are worth something. Equality, because everybody deserves a chance regardless of race, gender, economic status. And opportunity, because everybody deserves to see the possibilities that lie before them in their life. It was at this point that we decided to relaunch Kwake to become Hope Nation, with the vision of restoring hope to our nation, one life at a time. We identified that there were certain key injustices within our nation.
We decided to go younger and to almost look at the grassroots of a child's life and really try to take control of the learning environment as best we could.
So we are focusing on education because education is still the foundation to build a sustainable life. Healthcare, because a person is dignified if they feel healthy. And employment, because a person is empowered if they are employed. We feel that these key projects are really just the start of our journey to bringing hope to our nation.
The Kwake Learning Centre was our response to addressing these grassroots issues. And in 2023, we launched Owami Schools under Hope Nation. The exciting part of the story was that we managed to hire a teacher who was a recent graduate of our tertiary program.
When we first started Owami KwaDabeg, we started in a garage-looking setting. And when we added the grade R classroom, everyone wanted to be at Owami. We had a long waiting list of people wanting to be at Owami. Grade R, we used the School in a Box tool, and the kids are loving it. It's our technology class, and the kids are loving it. And Bongi is also thriving in that classroom.
Since 2023, we brought in Hope Medical as a part of one of the projects that we're doing at Hope Nation. And the reason for bringing it in was just because of the need that we saw with regards to the lack of dignity for a lot of our people who are seeking healthcare and not necessarily getting the type of healthcare that they need. And so we've seen a massive impact that Hope Medical has had on our communities, and that's communities within the Upper Highway, so Molweni, Lower Molweni, Ambo communities. And we're really looking to see if we can expand that, just moving away from purely doing outreaches, but also allowing individuals to actually get specific care within some of our facilities and some of our partners that we're partnering with. And so we're really looking forward to a future expansion of Hope Medical, and possibly one day to even having a hospital that is Hope Medical.
In 2025, we launched Hope Employment Partners, a project that aims to bring opportunity to those who are unemployed or those who are seeking better employment. We targeted 2 groups in this, the job seeker and companies that are looking to fulfill a role. A job doesn't just change a life, but it changes an entire community.
So you've heard our story, and we're so grateful for everything that's been done. But we really believe that the light is shining on the future of this nation. And we believe that actually change is only coming through dignified relationships, through partnerships with community and leaders and heroes in community that are already doing a lot of the work. All of our projects are designed in this way, that they're scalable so that we can make as big an impact on our nation as possible. And then that they're shareable because we know that we're not going to make change or create change on our own. We need a community of people who are in love with the story of South Africa and its people. I suppose today is a long way of inviting you into the thread of change that is not starting now, but it's been going for 30 years. And we really want to sincerely stir your hearts to want to be part of the God story that is for South Africa.